Marky, Billson, Tri-City Sports Now, just recently, just slugged during the break, their Facebook. If you're not following 1420 NBC Sports Radio Tri-Cities on Facebook, why in the world are you not? In addition to online, and that's not just Tri-City Sports Now, that's Dan Pat, NBC Sports Radio, that's Colin Coward, Mark Malone, Chuck Oliver, who is must listen to in this market. Really, I mean, Chuck Oliver is aces here. But when you're looking at this, you can listen there, but also take part in our contest. And I'm going to tell you about this at Kentucky Fried Chicken. Guess the closest scores for the home games to win a $20 gift certificate from KFC. Irwin KFC. But in other words, Unicoi County trying to go for 3-0 for the first time this century on the gridiron. County is to play North Green. North Green traditionally a struggling program. Last year, the score was 43-0. It was decided in the first quarter. That's actually when Brock Thompson made his debut as the Unicoi County quarterback. For all you people, I hope we're not sectioning only to Unicoi County for our listenership, but we do. Our station is located in Irwin, just off the interstate, very accessible off of exit 40 on I-26. And you are, so we've been here since the 50s, covering Unicoi County sports since then. Something we're not going to stop doing, okay? It's good profits there, etc. And KFC of Irwin sponsors it. But pick the of the Unicoi County North Green game, winner and the loser. If you get it right, or if you get closest to being right, $20 free chicken from KFC is awarded to you. So I hope you will listen to KFC. Listen to WKFC. How's that? Yeah, okay. That'll be quite the marketing campaign. By the way, did you ever know this, that the KFC Twitter, check this out if you don't believe me. This is tremendous marketing. KFC has 11 herbs and spices, right? Or 11 herbs and spices. If you ever look at KFC, their Twitter page follows only 11 people, okay? So remember, here, KFC only follows 11 people, 11 herbs and spices, the Colonel's secret recipe. Go to that Twitter. You ever see this? The 11 people they follow on Twitter at KFC. 6 guys named Herb and all 5 of the Spice Girls. What do you think about that? Pretty cool. All right. But no, go to our Facebook page right now. Pick a score. Who's going to win a ball game? What's the score going to be? Get close as you get $20 worth of fruits, maybe. You like the potato? Computer guy repairs and maintains your computer and fixes your phones and TVs too. Don't forget about that. So those are my reads here. You want to hear me talk about who's going to win a ball game on Saturday afternoon in Charlotte. Before we get to that, though, Dana Holgorsen, a man who once challenged me at a press conference, and I gave it right back to him and won. Yeah. So used to be at Oklahoma State. They play that, lack of a better term, high-octane offense, a lot of throwing, a lot of, yards, a lot of, fast tempo, that sort of thing. Clemson fans will remember when they put 70 points up on them in a bowl game. They had billboards all over West Virginia commemorating that victory. Anyway, West Virginia Holgorsen, ever since he sent Bill Stewart, or was it Colin Dunlap, to an early grave. Check it out. I'm not, And Dana Holgorsen does not like what Jeremy Pruitt is doing with the depth chart. Who does? Only an incredible Tennessee apologist would like, who will go along with everything, who will, He's one of those people that'll say, oh, yes, Tennessee was the national champion with a 9-2 record in 1967. Yes, the Dunkel Index, or whatever it is, says it so. I mean, like it's 1937 or something. They're going to give us the Dunkel Index. There are people that do that. The people that say that Vanderbilt is the 14th best college football program in America. Those guys that, always drive you nuts. They are the people who will say, Army Pruitt does, I support, until sooner or later he becomes Butch Jones. That sort of thing. Right? Anyway. Here's the deal. Dana Holgorsen has called out Jeremy Pruitt, and rightfully so, about his depth chart. There were, as we mentioned, 7 players on offense, 2 on defense. The depth chart released on Monday by Jeremy Pruitt, head coach of the Tennessee Volunteers, basically not giving a starter at a position. Now, I kind of think that the guy listed first is really number 1 on the depth chart. Because they're not always put in alphabetical order. If there was always an alphabetical order, then I would say, we don't really know. But you've got Guarantano over Christ. You've got ahead of Ty Chandler. But you also have, in a bit of a surprising move, linebacker Darren Kirkland listed over Quarte Sapp, the weak side linebacker position. Anyway. That's another question, though. I mean, I thought Tennessee was going to go to the 3-4, and I've got the depth chart right here, and I get 3 linebackers. What's with that? That doesn't make any sense. Dana Holgorsen also says, yeah, what's up with that? And so what he decided to do was call out Tennessee, and he started listing a lot of ors on his own depth chart. So theoretically, we don't know if Bucci Grossi will be starting at center or at right guard, whether it'll be Joe Brown or Isaiah Hardy. Hoopies, yes, that's, I guess it's sort of thought of as a pejorative term to West Virginia, but all right. You know where the origin is of that? Think distillery. Think the big barrels where you distill the moonshine and all that. You got the metal hoop around the wooden barrel. Hoopies. That's where that's from. Okay. We'll be dissecting country roads and Rocky Top tomorrow. I don't know. Or maybe we got time today. I don't know. Running back. Hey, 2 positions where Jeremy Pruitt listed a potentially 3 starters. Excuse me, there were 3 positions where he listed potentially 3 starters. Well, Holgorsen, he's going to one-up you on that. It's Kennedy McCoy, or maybe it's Martell Pettaway, or possibly Alex Sinkfeld, or maybe even Letty Brown. I don't think any of these guys are Amos Saraway, but hey, nevertheless. Chris Anderson, that's a site that I once wrote for, covered Bobby Bowden's last game for him, as a matter of fact. West Virginia was playing Florida State in a Gator Bowl, so there you go. Dana Holgorsen said of this, of trying to hide true starters on the depth chart, we did this because Tennessee did it first. Holgorsen also says they can only do this first week of the year. That'll be interesting to see. Because I know Pruitt is going to want to try to do it. Because around here, they'll let him get away with it. And for that matter, in Alabama, they're letting, I don't know if it's going to be Tungley, I don't know if it's going to be Tua or if it's going to be Jalen. I'll refer to them by their first names because it's still tough for me to say, what is it? I'll get it. Here we go. People are making fun of me. Tua Tagovailoa. I'll get the pronunciation here on the next break. Okay, forgive me here. I know I sound like a hack. Okay, but you try pronouncing it. Yeah, see if you do any better. There's some Crimson Tide fan out there going, and then he'll use ain't. Anyway. Is listing multiple starters, at least on offense. Of course, this has fired up some of the Tennessee fans because, as we know, I'm the only guy that's allowed to criticize. You know, you can't criticize Tennessee. You can't criticize anything in East Tennessee. South Green loses to Elizabethton 45-6. They put up a strong challenge. Paul Stanton cuts football at ETSU. Hey, anywhere else he'd be driven out of town on a rail. He'd be the art model of his community. Here they elect him to county council. You cannot say anything wrong about anything, you know, and all that. Murder, you know, anything shy of murder, you know, or if you're Butch Jones. Those are the two things, you know. Or if you leave Tennessee to go to Southern California. Those are the two things right there, you know. Losing football games after a while, or at Tennessee. Or if you're Don Riley, then they make up the story about you being Luther. Okay, I sound very, very... All right. There's Billson ranting again. Seth Stokes now says on Twitter that Holgorsen sounds whiny. Actually, I'm glad Holgorsen called out Pruitt, and I hope he calls out Saban, and I hope he calls out anybody who tries to treat the media and therefore the conduit to the fans in this manner by really holding almost contempt for them by listing such a depth chart that is so, hopefully it's read between the lines, but is so indecisive. Because either Jeremy Pruitt is indecisive, not good, or he is holding the idea that you might want to know just who is going to play for Tennessee, holding that idea in contempt. Now, I have said, you know, depth chart, if you're doing it in one position, it's going to be Chandler, you know, that sort of thing, Madre London. Okay, because you figure you're going to be rotating running backs. That's just what football is in 2018. I get it, okay? And it may be telling that Jordan was the first player listed. There then becomes a question whether or not Pruitt or Butch Jones' staff can actually identify running back talent better, considering that it was Ty Chandler who got all the plays against Kentucky, and it was Jordan who backed him up. If Jordan starts getting more of the carries than Chandler did, or will, against, say, West Virginia or ETSU or whoever, there you go. You get some, you know, petty things, you know, and all this. Dana Holgorsen's name is Dana, you know, that sort of thing. Oh, you must be feminine, or what. Paul Atov Cockdale says, I didn't like him very much. Otherwise, she wouldn't have named him Dana. Yeah, that's kind of a predictable thing, to be honest with you, right there. He's such a damn baby. Actually, I think he's being repetitive, you know, that sort of thing. I'm warming up to the Tennessee-West Virginia matchup because Holgorsen is complaining about things like our practice time and depth chart. Actually, I have been too. Now, the practice time, no, there's nothing going to be done about that. Basically, he's stating that the practice time, I think Tennessee begins their classes before West Virginia, so he thinks that they'll have more practice time. I don't quite get that, but anyway. Holgorsen is Butch Jonesing everything. That's like the worst, you know. That would be like the Family Feud, a Tennessee Family Feud answer. You know, name someone absolutely hated by most Tennesseans, you know, and you'll get Satan, you'll get, I don't know, around here it would be somebody like, you know, a liberal Paul Jones is the number one answer. Trust me on that one, okay? By the way, yes, this tie used to belong and was worn by Richard Dawson on Family Feud, if you're looking on Facebook. What is going on here? We never know what he's going to say next, Billson. Okay. That's Mr. Billson to you. And change my outlook on the depth chart. You might as well assume there's an or everywhere. It affects nothing. Absolutely nothing. That bothers y'all way more than it bothers us. Actually, this is what Caleb No of WVLT says. I got to try to get Caleb No on it because I am going to tell you it does affect something. Because one, the players would probably like to know who's going to start or not. Helps them prepare. Number two, unless you are, absolutely, I don't care who plays for my favorite team, you want to know who's going to play. And that's the coach holding you in contempt. And you get a guy from WVLT. Of course, what kind of call letters are WVLT? You want to get on Dana Holgorsen's name. What is WVLT, right? And all this. Okay. But you want to get on that and say it affects nothing. It affects Marky's monologue yesterday. Colorado actually made fun of Jim Harbaugh, who also is very well known for playing his cards close to the vest and also is very well known for underachieving at Michigan, and for that matter, deciding that Colin Kaepernick was a better quarterback than Alex Smith. How's that worked out for you, and how's that worked out for the sport? Anyway, the idea was that Harbaugh would even release a fake depth chart. Harbaugh never even released a full team roster a couple of years ago, or actually it was last year. And then Michigan retreated one of the former players as a joke that was still on the team. In other words, put a person who wasn't even on the team. This is why you need some sort... Miles Brand is absolutely ineffective if he can't put a stop to this. And this is holding your own fan base in contempt. Former Texas A&M coach Dennis Franchione resigned in 2007 after it became public that he was leaking depth charts, $1,200 for the information. Why don't you just leak the, And that shows you, the contempt that you would have. People are willing to spend $1,200. Now, what Franchione needs with that money, I don't know. You think that A&M, they're known for paying their coaches pretty well. What he needs for another $1,200, I'm not sure. Anyway. But yeah, Holgorsen, is that bulletin board material? Does bulletin board material work? The big thing after the first hit, he said, they said bad things about us. We're all fired up. Oh, we've just been pancaked. I got to worry about that now, that sort of thing. Okay. Anyway, that's what the storyline is around, and it concerns the depth chart. And to be honest with you, it would have been kind of better if we had a depth chart of, country roads or Rocky Top, and, then going out and making fun of Ohio State for having their ancillary fight song be, geez, this doesn't have anything to do with Columbus. Why are you doing that? Anyway, that would have been a more fun topic to go out with and back and forth and all that. Maybe I'll do a monologue on that here in a little bit. I don't know. But maybe I'll call up my West Virginia grad friend, Sean Malooly, and we can debate. Of course, he didn't like country music. We can debate Rocky Top. I would go with the Rocky Top. He would go with the country roads. Tri-City, I'm not that sold on Rocky Top. I actually prefer down all around the SEC after this.